Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Today my mum is back on the channel. You've all been asking for her over the last few weeks, so you know, she's going to be back on for you all today. I did a review all about the Tati Beauty Blendiful last week. If you haven't seen that already, I will link that up here for you and also in the description box so you can watch that a little bit later on. But you've all been asking what my mum thinks about this. She hasn't tried it yet because I've had it and I've not wanted to give it to her to try because I really like it. But you all want to know how this reacts on a more mature skin. So we're going to answer that question today. Also, just to make this a little bit different, as I have already done a full review on the Blendiful already, I asked you to post your questions to my mum or myself. We're going to answer those questions in this video. By the way, if you do not follow me on Instagram already, you will have not got that message. Please make sure you are also following me on Instagram so you don't miss anything that's going to be featuring on my channel in the future. It's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase and no spaces. Also, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and you hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. I upload on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 PM London time. Now let's get her in here. Okay, so my mum has arrived. We are going to be applying the products with the Tati Beauty Blendiful and answering your questions, like I said in the intro. By the way, hello everybody. By the way, so many of you said, did you know that you can quite easily just flip the little ribbon around and use the other side? Yes, I did know that, but thank you very much for reminding me. I have no idea why I did not say that in the review that I did the other day, but I have flipped it round so I can use the clean side on my mum today. We're going to be going straight into primer using the Porfessional primer from Benefit. Squeeze a little bit out on my hand. I am not going to be in shot, by the way. My mum is the important one in this video, so I'm just squeeze out to the side. I found that one of the major benefits of the Blendiful is when you're applying your foundation and also when you're applying your primer, because this really pushes the primer into the skin, which just creates this flawless base. Just see half of my face right now. That might be a little off-putting. Let me get out of shot. Right, so we're going to put a little bit of the primer on my mum's areas where she has a few more noticeable pores. And whilst I am applying this with the Blendiful, my mum is going to go through some of your questions. So let's do the first one.
Okay, this is from Vicky Nelson. I'd like to know how she feels about aging. Sometimes I feel it gets me down a little. And you know what, Vicky? Yes, it gets me down too. Not just because of my face and I can see wrinkles every day, but for everything. I mean, I'm looking at moving house at the moment and I'm having to think about, well, where's the doctor's? Where's the nearest shop? And in the past, that never would have occurred to me at all. I'd have just got in the car and driven. But with getting older, yeah, I've got to think about those things now. And also in terms of clothes, I don't think I've really known for about 10 years what really suits me anymore, clothes-wise. And then I'll look at all these lovely mini skirts and think, oh, I used to be able to wear those and I can't wear them. So yeah, it does get you down a little bit. On the other hand, on the plus side, don't you think that you're a lot wiser when you're older? And if you'd have got your 66-year-old head on a 20-year-old shoulder, that you'd have done so much more with your life, don't you think? So that's my answer.
So the foundation that I'm going to use straight away today is the Born to Glow foundation from NYX. We were going to use the number 7 foundation, but I thought you'd all shout at me because it's still not available in the US. So we're going to be using the Born to Glow foundation, which is beautiful on my mum's skin, and this is in the shade Light. So next question.
Okay, this one is a beautiful name. Viviana Inglaterra. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Viviana wants to know if I've changed my skincare routine recently and why haven't you seen me on Gem's channel? Well, the first one is not really. I haven't changed my skincare routine. I do dabble with other things now and again, but I don't really see a difference in my skin. So I tend to keep to the same things. Gem perhaps might notice, but I don't tend to look at my face much during the day, so yeah, so no, I haven't.
It's a really, really important thing to mention if you are like my mum, by the way, and you are a little bit impatient when it comes to skincare. Skincare is not going to have an effect on your skin in a super quick time. The only way to get seriously fast results is Botox and fillers, and that is not going to be right for absolutely everybody. And it's also really, really expensive. But if you could take a picture of your skin and then when you're maybe 65, go back in time and see yourself in an alternate universe where you haven't been using those creams and serums on your skin, you will see a big difference had you not been using them.
The second part of Viviana's question is, why haven't we seen her lately? Well, because you've had other things to do, haven't you, on your channel?
Yeah.
And we see each other every week anyway.
We actually like spending time as mother and daughter outside the filming room, and we like to go shopping and go out for meals, and sometimes you don't really get to enjoy each other's company as much when you're filming. So it is a lot of added pressure, isn't it, when you just film constantly?
What does she do to pass the time? Well, I go to an art class every Tuesday. Or as much of the Tuesday, as much as I can on a Tuesday anyway. Sometimes I can't go through other things, which I really enjoy. And I've dabbled in making jewellery.
I've got one of my mum's jewellery pieces on today. I never take this off. It's so, so nice. Aww. You'll have seen it on my channel all the time. In fact, a couple of you have actually asked me, where do you get that from and where do I buy it? I'm sorry. My mum made it for me. My mummy made it.
Otherwise, it's family and friends, really. That's it.
You do have quite a busy life, don't you?
Yeah, it's lovely. I don't know how I found time to work when I worked. That question was from Alison L, by the way. Sorry, Alison, for missing your name out at the beginning. Right, when I can open my eyes, I'll read the next one.
Sorry, Mum. Go on.
Right, Chloe Bird. I want to know if she could go back to her early 30s, what skincare advice did she wish she knew? Right, the first thing I would say is wash your face or cleanse your face every single night. When I was a teenager, I didn't used to do that. I was ever so naughty with it. And that's why I got big pores, I think, because I didn't pay enough attention to that. But also, I'd say look after your neck better, because my neck's really not good now. It's very crepey.
It is. I disagree. My mum's neck, the skin on my mum's neck is actually really, really good. But compared to the skin on my mum's face, it's nowhere near as good quality. And that's because you didn't used to take your skincare down.
No, I didn't.
So always take your skincare all the way down, all the way down to the top of the boobs. And if you've got some left over, you know, why not put them on there as well? So you've got nice boobs when you're older.
The other thing is, when I was young, I was born in the 50s, so we didn't know about skincare at all then. And I was also born in Somerset, so we were at the seaside quite a lot at weekends with the hardly any sun cream at all. So for goodness sake, don't do that now. We used to sit there with tin foil with oil on our faces, literally cooking oil on our faces to bring the sun. I know, terrible, really bad.
Don't
really
try
bad.
this at home, everybody. So what the product I'm putting on at the moment is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish. And then I'll go in with the Blendiful.
Petra van der Laan, I hope I've said that right. I use a coloured day cream instead of foundation and want to know if I should put on my SPF before or after applying the cream.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a difficult one. By the way, I'm using the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate in C2 underneath my mum's eyes here. So this is slightly difficult one because you're using a day cream, but it is you're using it really as a tinted moisturiser. And a tinted moisturiser is classed as makeup, and skincare always comes before makeup, and SPF is always your last port of skincare. So you would put your SPF on before, in this case, putting on your day cream, which you're using as a tinted moisturiser, if that makes sense. It is a slightly difficult one, but if it's got a tint to it and you're using it as a tinted moisturiser, then it's classed as makeup, so I would put it in that order.
The next question is from Sophie K. Hi Gemma, just wondering how often I can dermaplane at home.
Well, dermaplaning at home is slightly different to dermaplaning in a salon, because dermaplaning in a salon, it would take off the top layer of dead skin cells, as well as taking off all the peach fuzz on your face, which is what I purposefully do it for. I don't do it to take off the top layer of dead skin cells, because I have a really good routine for skincare anyway, which does that for me. So it definitely depends on what you're dermaplaning for. If you're just removing the peach fuzz, you can do it every 6 to 8 weeks. There's no need to do it more often than that. If you're actually removing the dead skin cells, one, you need to make sure that you're not using any other sorts of acids and things that will do that job for you. And you make sure that you're not over dermaplaning and over exfoliating the skin. So I would say every 4 weeks maximum. So I'm just going into the Revolution Pro Hydra Matte Powder, which is an excellent powder for hiding any large pore areas. Next question, Mum.
Okay. Carrie Daly asks, how does she feel about being YouTube famous?
YouTube famous, Mum.
Does she get recognised by strangers? Do her friends treat her differently or even understand? Has it changed her life much? Really, I'm not famous. Nobody notices me in the street or anything like that.
I think they do. It's just that they don't come and say hi. So by the way, if you do recognise my mum in the street, just come and say hi.
Okay, next question is... Hang on, Gem.
Sorry.
Kiwi Julie. What was Gemma like as a little girl and then as a teenager?
Uh-oh.
Oh, do you know? What can I say about that?
You can be honest, it's all right.
Actually, you were a really lovely little girl. And as a teenager, you didn't give me any trouble.
What?
Not really. Not really, you didn't.
My mum doesn't know a lot of the stuff that I got up to as a teenager.
That's the trouble, you see. I mean, I gave you a fair bit of freedom.
You did. It was good being a teenager in our house.
Because, you know, I had a very, very strict upbringing and I didn't want that for you. So you were always in when you were told to be in or when you said you were going to be in. So I had no problems with that. But as I have found out since, she got up to all sorts that I didn't know about, you see. But as a little girl, you were such a sweet little thing and you were kind. And that's all that anybody can ask, really, you know. You worked hard at school. You did your best. That's all you can ask. Yeah, you were all right, you were, Jen.
Oh, thanks, Mum.
Okay, Jackie O'Connor asks, she says, I use it under eye concealer, and even though it goes on smoothly at first, within 30 minutes it's sunk into my fine lines. This seems to happen no matter what concealer I've used over the years. Any tricks you or your mum can share with us?
Well, you use the IT concealer, so you go with what you do.
Okay, I set it in place, just like Gem's doing right now. And to be honest with you, Jackie, it used to do the same for me until I was introduced to setting it in place, and it never moves now. So it's just this little white powder. Just do what Gem was doing there. I do it on my lids as well, and sometimes on my chin.
And also, if it is really, really moving throughout the day, just consider that you may be using slightly too much product. You need to use the tiniest amount of product. If it's still moving when you're setting it in place, that's probably the reason. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the luxury palette from Charlotte Tilbury in her Pillow Talk range on my mum's eyes while we answer the next question.
Okay, so Kimball says, I'd love to know how your mum feels about everyday foundation /base. I'm finding myself at 51 reaching for the Chanel Le Beige tinted moisturiser more and more and loving it as opposed to actual foundation. Oh, that's a good question. In the past, I used to use Estee Lauder Double Wear. When I was working, every single day it would go on my face, and it's because I needed something that stayed all day. But now I'm finding that that's too heavy for me and it's too matte. I need something that's a bit more dewy nowadays.
Also, you need to keep in mind as you get older, obviously you can go from one extreme to the other. So a really matte foundation will highlight your lines and wrinkles, whereas a really dewy foundation might move a little bit and highlight your lines and wrinkles. So finding something in between is really key, and then building it up for different situations. Also, just remember that if you're not overly keen on a dewy foundation, you can find a mattifying setting powder that will mattify the areas that you feel maybe enhance your large pores or any sort of wrinkles. So you can mattify that down a little bit. So you can have two areas of your face where maybe you have a little bit more dewiness on there, a bit more of a youthful look, and then hide the pores using a mattifying powder. So I think that's what you do most of the time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Okay, Rachel Dahl says, you and your mum seem to have a wonderful mother-daughter relationship. Have you always been close? And if so, what do you think has strengthened your relationship? Well, we haven't always been this close, have we?
No. I think the teenage years were a little bit of a struggle, and I think we fought a little bit. My mum and dad aren't together anymore, and that happened when I was about 10. I think, and I think we had a little bit of a miscommunication there, because I wanted to know everything and I was only 10. So I went off the rails a little bit, shall we say, and we didn't really get on for that reason. So I think that's completely normal. I think a lot of families go through that when you have a difference of opinion, and maybe I was really young. I didn't know how to express myself at that age, and we had some really, really nasty arguments where a lot of things were said that shouldn't have been said. But I don't think we would have been as close as we are today had we not gone through that period of time. And we understand each other a lot more. And I respect my mum so much more now I have my own children, and I realise how hard it is. We're all winging it at the end of the day.
Tracy Stone says, dry, crepey eyes. Can we use Retin-a in the eye area? It's my and most every woman's over 50 problem area. I don't have dark circles, so concealers aren't a must for me.
Okay, so I have done a video on tretinoin for beginners. Tretinoin is the drug's actual name, whereas Retin-a is a brand. So you will get lots of different brands, but the ingredient in there is tretinoin. And I have done a beginner's tretinoin video. I will link it in the description box below, where it does detail where you should put that on your face. I always apply this around my eye area, but never underneath my eye area, because it is so super strong and can actually have the adverse effect underneath that eye area. It can make it more dry, more crepey, a bit flaky, and you don't want that. You don't want to have bad skin now to have good skin later. It's just not the right thing to do. There are some creams with a lower strength of vitamin A in there that you can get. I don't personally use those, because even those with a retinol or a retinoid that's quite low strength, the skin underneath your eye is so thin. You need to protect it so much more. And I just find that even with the lower strength vitamin A's, it just goes dry and just accentuates the crepiness. So for me personally, I wouldn't put it underneath the eye area. Obviously, it's personal preference. If you want to try it, but I wouldn't do it. I would use a really good quality eye cream, and my mum's favourite eye cream, we have a video on that as well. I will link it up here for you and in the description box so you can watch that a little bit later on. It's very, very nourishing, very hydrating and very smoothing underneath the eyes, and your eyes became so much less crepey underneath them when you use that super high nourishing cream. So do watch that video a little bit later. So the bronzer I've just used on my mum is the Hoola bronzer from Benefit, and I'm just about to use the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic Little Blush in Pillow Talk. Next question, Mum.
Okay. Pia Salvaggio said, how old is your mum? I'm 66, so I'll be 67 in June. Easy question.
And looking fabulous. Next question.
Okay. Fiona Fraser said, your mum's hair is a beautiful colour and a very current style. Thank you very much. And my question is, what colour was she before grey, and at what age did she turn grey? Okay, so I was sort of a mousy brown before I turned grey, and I started to go grey in my 30s actually. My mum was grey very early, and I think it's just hereditary. So I had it streaked for several years, and it ended up being quite blonde. And then I went on holiday and decided that I was going to give it a go to not dye my hair anymore. So I let the sun bleach it. When I came back from holiday, I looked at my hair and thought, it's very white. So what I'll do is let it grow out now. And it was a struggle because, you know, you get this grey bit and then you get the coloured bits, and so it, you know, you have to just grit your teeth and do it. But I've never looked back. Darby Terpster asks, what is one trend you hope to see return in 2020 and one trend you wish we would stop doing now?
Okay, so while I'm answering that question, my mum is going to apply a little bit of mascara on her top and lower lashes, and this one is the Fenty Beauty Full Frontal Mascara, which, by the way, a full review will be coming very, very soon. So a trend that I want to see gone completely is the trend of applying such a full coverage foundation when you are really, really young. I see a lot of children going to school in the area that I live in, and they've got a really full coverage base on and they have perfect skin. The trend that I'd like to see more of is the trend of wearing maybe just a tinted moisturizer or a really sheer coveraged foundation, because I love skin and I'd really like to see more people wear skin. I think it's a really youthful look when you don't wear such a high coverage foundation. So the next question is from Alicia Bush. What do you like best about being your current age? I'll answer that first and then I'll go on to my mum. The reason I like being my current age at the moment is because I don't care two hoots about what anybody thinks about me. I am who I am. Take me or leave me. And I think I spent a lot of my teenage years and in my 20s worrying far too much about what everybody else thought, and I am really, really pleased that I am not only comfortable in my own skin, but comfortable with my own personality. It's not for everybody. I can be a little bit annoying, but I'm comfortable with it. I am who I am. I'm not changing for anybody. What are you happy about now you're that age?
Now that I'm this age, being retired, actually, I absolutely love it. I mean, I loved my job when I was in it. It was quite a demanding job, and I didn't have a lot of time for the things that I can do now. And it ran me ragged, really, to be able to see all my friends and family and still work. But now that I'm retired, it's fantastic. I love it.
Another question was, what did you used to do for a living? So you can answer that in that question, I guess.
Oh, I suppose so. I worked at Sheffield Hallam University in Sheffield, and I was in the disability team where I was involved with the students who had specific learning difficulties such as dyslexia, dyspraxia, attention deficit disorder, those things. And I was involved with the assessments of those students and with teaching those students, helping them with their assignments. Yeah.
So a very rewarding job,
Yeah,
but
it was
also
lovely.
quite stressful.
It was very demanding, very, very demanding, yeah, especially towards the end.
Okay, so the next product we're going to put on is my mum's favourite lipstick from Beauty Pie, and this is in the shade Naked Pink. So I'll read out the next question while you do that, Mum. Was your mum always using makeup in her life? This is from Kristen S. And does she wear it, I think, every single day, or do you save it for special occasions? You are not a regular to my channel, are you, Kristen? Because if you've watched all the mum videos, I think I must mention this in every single video. My mum doesn't answer the phone unless she's got a full face of makeup
That's
on.
not quite true.
No, but not
Yeah.
not to that extent. But you know what I mean. So you wear it all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I started wearing it when I used to go to the youth club, when I was about 15, I suppose. Maybe a bit younger, maybe 14, but never during the day, and never unless I was going out to the youth club. But I loved it. I did like it, and as I got older, my skin was very uneven toned, so I wore it every day. Every single day, and I still wear it every single day.
And if you want to know my mum's full every single day makeup look, there is a video for that. Again, I will link it up here for you and also in the description box. Okay, so just take a look in the mirror and see whether you can see a difference from applying it with the Tati Beauty Blendiful to applying it the way that you would usually apply your makeup.
It's very smooth, and oh gosh, it feels nice as well, actually. Very smooth and very airbrushed, I would say.
I
Very
would
smooth.
definitely say this is the smoothest I've seen my mum's skin for quite a while. However, I will point out that I have never used the Porfessional Pore Primer on my mum before. So there is a possibility that this has also something to do with it, as well as the Blendiful. It's just gone on so beautifully. It still looks like skin, which I
does.
think is a big one, especially...
important.
You don't like going out looking like you're overdone, do you? So this is definitely an absolutely fantastic tool. We like this. We both like it. My mum's going to give it a go and carry on using it and see how she gets on. So hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know us a little bit more. Please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, and you also follow me on Instagram. It's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase and no spaces. And click on that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. I upload on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 PM London time. And there is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.
Bye.